Hey friends, and welcome back to another episode of Real Housewives of Moto. I am here with Michaela of Michaela on the Bike. And if you are not following her on Instagram, I don't know what the hell you're doing. So get on over there and give her a follow. What is up, Michaela? Thank you for coming to hang out with me.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. That was a really good hype up. Thank you for the shout out.
Well, it's all you. You're bringing the energy. I told you before we press record that I was going to be very frank with our listeners. I found Michaela through the good old Explore page on Instagram on my personal account, not Real Housewives of Moto. So your algorithm is working. It is finding the right people. I am the target demo. And it's really only been since we decided it was Arlington that you were on the floor with Haley, and I found you and was just like, hell yeah. Like there's another girl that likes two-wheeled things. I'm here for it. So here we are.
That makes me happy. Yeah, that's cool. I think that's cool that that hit the Explore page. You know what's so funny? That that reel actually didn't like perform as well as I was hoping it would, but I mean, it hit your Explore page and we found each other. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
It's the best.
Yeah.
I'm so here. So I want our listeners to get to know you as a woman, as someone who rides all kinds of things, which is so cool. I want to hear how you gave me a little teaser about how you fell in love with dirt bikes, which is such a funny story. I love that. And really we connected after you had a little tumble on a Stark, which we'll talk about. And got to see the like nasty side of the interwebs and people being haters and you know, questioning your choices and your mental health. And I was just so grossed out by it, for one thing, that I was like, I'm nobody. I just want to tell this girl, like, she's got a female fan in me and she's got female fans behind her. And I told you off the air, like, you messaging me back, thank you for what I said, was just like so huge, because the sport is so strange and so small. And then women inside it is even smaller. Like our pool is getting very tiny. And to just be a good human, just like warmed my heart. So here we are. Thank you for being a decent human.
Yeah, that was the crash. You know what's so funny? I kind of debated whether or not I wanted to put that out on social media or if I wanted to put that out on the internet. And I had a lot of friends from both sides saying, you know, like maybe this is something that you should keep private. And other people were like, you should spin this and use it to your advantage, like try and go viral. Like, and I mean, I do this almost full time. And the way that I film my content too, I had enough content built up to last me until I could probably jump on the bike again, if I'm being honest. And so I could have kept this whole thing a secret if I wanted to, and just have posted all the content that I had built up over the months and slowly released that. But then I got to thinking too, and I had a friend come visit me in the hospital, and she was like, this is so relatable. There's so many people that go through stuff like this. And I think that's a part of Moto too that people don't talk about very often. And I guess I know why. It's because, I mean, it can kind of be kind of dark too. I mean, we saw what happened with that amateur racer, Aiden, over the weekend, and there's so many stories that come out like that all the time. And so, you know, I was like, you know what, I'm kind of gonna, I didn't want to exploit it because I didn't feel, I don't know, I didn't feel comfortable doing that. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep it. I think I only like made maybe two or three posts about it, but I was like, I'm just gonna tell my thoughts and kind of like my story on what happened, and then kind of where my headspace was at, because I think this would be relatable to a lot of people, but especially people that ride and they don't have friends or family that ride and can relate to them. And I just had so many people from both sides being like, why would you get back into this? Like, this almost killed you. Like, this thing hurt you so bad. Like, why would you go back to it? Like, and I know where they're coming from, because it's mostly out of, I mean, I think it's mostly out of love. Like, people love you and you get hurt and you're in pain and the recovery is not pretty. It's hard on you. It's hard on your spouse, like whoever's taking care of you. It's like not easy on anyone. And they're like, why would you go back to that? And I think I don't know if we're crazy. We might be a little crazy, but I think it's just this, I mean, and this is what everyone says, and people that don't ride really won't understand, but we just love it. Like, I love it. I love the feeling. And I'm not like you don't need to be a pro to have like this feeling. Like you don't need to be sending on big
Say it
jumps
again.
or like
Say it again.
dragging bars in the ruts. Like it truly is just like a feeling, like this flow that you find. And um it's so sorry, I'm talking a lot. I'm like
This is about
I'm
you,
in my
girl. This
feels.
is
I'm
you.
in my feels right
Ain't
now.
nobody here to listen to me today. It's all you.
We were out with a couple of friends having drinks the other night, and we're like a couple drinks in, and they were just like, Michaela, like you were crazy. Like why would you go, what up, girlfriend? Like why would you go back to this scary thing? Like why do you want to go
Mm-hmm.
through something like that again, possibly, you know? And I was like, have you ever felt, they like tease me about this now, but it's like so accurate when I say, like, I was like, yeah, but have you ever felt like your soul was on fire? I was like, have you ever, and I'm like a little tipsy, and I'm just like, have you ever felt like your soul is on fire? And I just like
That.
mean it. And they're like looking at me and they're like, oh shit. Like, I think it kind of made them question themselves too. Like, have I had that feeling? Like, what does that
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, and I just think a lot of people in the industry could relate with that, whether it's like sport bikes or dirt bikes or motocross. I think that's the adrenaline rush and like that feeling of like feeling so alive and so present is like, that's why we keep returning to it. And it
Yeah.
sucks that like the people that don't, right, I mean, if they love you, they're going to keep letting you do it. But also like
Mm-hmm.
it was just hard. It was hard at the time. Like my my parents know I'm going to do what I freaking want to do, and they respect that. But they're also like, can you just like not hit the
Yeah.
jump, you know, can you just like keep it on the ground? And so anyways, that's why I was like, I need to share those feelings, because I'm sure other people have like struggled with that, like other people chiming in like, why would you do this? And i I think those are some of the best performing posts that I've
Mm.
posted. And I think
Well, they're
that's
real.
also what makes, yeah, social media more special. And like you said, like more real is when you can be vulnerable. And then I just had so I was like overwhelmed with the amount of stories that people were sharing. And I just, for like the next week, I just like the hundreds of comments that I had gotten, I was like reading through everyone's stories that they were sharing. And I try to message as many people back as I could. And I just, and that's kind of how I met you too, is
Yeah.
you had left like a really nice comment. And I, there were like a handful of people that I felt like I just needed to, I was like so emotional at the time. I'm still like emotional about it, but yeah, there were people that I was like, this was super meaningful and like kind of gave me a boost when I was feeling down. And so I messaged a few people like, thank you for your comments and stuff. And I was able to have like a lot of like really good conversations, I think, with people.
Yeah. Well,
So
I love that. It
yeah,
just shows that you're human. And I think it's so easy in this, day of social media and, I mean, your girl, you got a lot of followers. Like, what are we at? Like 184,000. Hold on. I'm gonna blow you out. You don't have to say it. I'll say it. 184,000 followers. It's nothing to shake a stick at. So, I mean, you could just easily, I mean, especially we were talking about like having all the content enough to get you through your recovery. Like the fact that you even thought about that, I mean, it's just this machine that you play into in the content game and people's opinions. And I just was like, oh my gosh, this girl is obviously hurting. She's hurting from an industry that I love. And to have other people chirping, like I'm just like, oh, it just makes me, it gives me chills in the worst way. Like my hair is standing up because I'm getting like that mama bear feeling. So I'm like, okay, Allie, chill. But but for you to take the time to message me back for saying thank you is just like you're putting good energy out into the universe. And like, you know, I don't care what anybody believes. Like when you're a nice person, like I love even in your post, I cropped it for this because I was like, we got to stay wild, be kind, be smart. Like I love that. I love it, you know?
you're
So
awesome. That's like
be a nice person.
my new like that's been my new like life motto for the past couple of years. I told my husband, I was like, I kind of want to raise our kids like this.
Yeah.
I've heard people say like, oh, don't say like be safe, like you want your, like, being
Mm-hmm.
wild is part of like feeling alive, like being
Yeah.
a part of like being alive. So I like the, yeah, like stay wild, be wild, like us
I love
motocross
it.
riders, like we're wild, but also like be smart.
Yep. Yep.
And then
Yep.
yes, be kind. So that's kind of like, yeah, that's my new little life motto. I hope
Put that
other
on a
people
shirt.
maybe relate. Yeah, maybe maybe we do that.
I mean, put on a shirt because your girl is entering the merch game. Can we call it merch? I mean, it's merch celebrating things we like. It's not your merch. It is Dirt Dreams merch. So tell us about Dirt Dreams and where that came from, and it's cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So I originally, before I even started my social media, I was going down the path to become a licensed architect. And I had graduated from the University of Utah in their School of Architecture. And it's kind of a competitive program, so I felt like really special when I got into it. And I started working in the field right away after I graduated under the wing of like other licensed architects, and I loved it. Like I loved designing. It's like such a big part of my life. And school, this is I now that I'm thinking about it, school used to be like such a big part of my life. Like when I was younger, I was like this perfect attendance, like 4.0 student. Like my parents, I remember them trying to pull me out of school for like grandpa's funeral, and I was like, can't go. Perfect
Oh my
attendance.
gosh.
I was like a or they want to pull me out on vacation and stuff, and I like wouldn't do it. I was like obsessed. I love school. And so I was actually in my master's program when my on my way to becoming a licensed architect, which was really like the dream, everything I wanted to do. And then my social media started popping off, and I was like, what do I love more? Like dirt bikes, architecture. Um, and I just saw an opportunity, and I was like, I was kind of scary, like jumping ship from, and I, so long story short, I jumped out, or I left my master's program. Like I dropped out of my master's
Wow.
in
Okay.
architecture. And it's funny because I was so scared. My parents were so proud of me. I was like, and now we laugh at it. I actually never told them. Like they know now, but like I never physically like came out and said it. They just like low key found out like months
Yeah.
later from like my siblings because my little sisters knew.
It was like,
But
hold on, pause. Are you the oldest daughter?
I am.
I
Yeah,
knew it. I knew it. Me too. I'm like, this is oldest daughter syndrome. I knew it. I'm sorry. I just had to ask. Go on. It's
I love
oldest
it.
daughter energy.
um yeah, so anyways, I never told them. And then I full send into like the social media stuff. I bought a really nice, what was the original question? Am
Oh,
I
I don't
like,
even
I'm
know. I
like
don't even
so
know.
off track
No,
right
it doesn't
now.
matter. No, keep going. I'm like, yes, all the
I'm
things. We were talking
sorry.
about dirt dreams, but keep going.
Oh, that's right. Okay, okay. Sorry. I'm like so much talking right now. I'm throwing it way, way far back.
I want that too. So, you girl, we can bring it back. We can bring it forward. It's okay. I can track.
Okay, okay. Anyway, so I jumped, yeah, jumped ship.
We got it. We're
It's so
good.
funny. We were talking before, and I'm like nervous again now that
No,
the
you're
you
good.
were like, as soon as you pushed record, I was like, oh,
I
it's real
know.
this time.
I know. It's a little
Um,
red button, you know? It's kind of like Chase when Chase is leading a race and he gets the leader lights and he freaks out. Except those are green. But, it's the
he
the
does
leader
do
lights in
that.
Moto.
What the heck? He totally does. So
We rip on Chase enough here. That's okay. So, you buy a camera? You buy a fancy camera? Is
yes,
that where you
buy
start
a
investing?
camera. Yes, I buy a camera. I have no knowledge of like cameras or editing or anything like that. So I
Welcome to the
really,
club.
yeah, you'll pick it up, I promise. Yeah, the more you do it.
It's so
Um,
overwhelming.
bought a camera, and just leaned into like the whole social media thing. And that started like, it was so fun. Like it was so wild. It just started like skyrocketing. I remember I've had a few reels go viral, and I just remember refreshing my feed, and like every hour I would have 1,000 new followers for like
That's
48 hours.
wild. That
Isn't
is
that crazy?
wild. That like
I tell people too, I was
thousands.
like, there, we were talking about this earlier, but there's like enough room in this community for everyone. There's space for everyone. Like there, and I tell people too, like I, I knew that I wanted to be a part of this space, but I didn't want to be a racer. I've raced a little bit in the past, and I mean, it was fun, but I mean, people are literally like putting their life on the line. Like I'm more of
Literally,
like a
yeah.
weekend warrior. Like I really just like going out with like my husband and cruising around and just getting into that flow feeling. But I was like, I want to be a part of this community without having to be a racer. And honestly, like social media is such a good way to like get into it, especially if you want to have a voice. Like, yeah, start your social media. That's what I tell all my friends. Like you just got to be consistent with it and keep posting, and yeah, like some things will stick with people and you'll just start to grow,
Mhm.
and it can change your life. Like
Yeah.
I was on my way to be an architect, and
So why? So
I
what
had
year was that?
yeah,
Like
no plans in changing.
when was the departure from master's program, and when did social media, like what's that
You
timeline?
know what? It's been about, I think it's been 4 years. So it's taken me 4 years to kind of get from zero to like the 184 that I
That's
have
crazy.
right now. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. I think too, and then the more you grow, like the more it just keeps opening doors, and the more like other content creators you meet, and they'll open more doors for you. And I've learned like the more people I've had a lot of chance to meet like a lot of different content creators, and it's crazy because the more that people like open up and share, like the more we both grow. And I've realized
Mm-hmm.
there's some people that are really closed off and like don't want to bring you into their world because they feel threatened.
Mm-hmm.
Um and those people don't seem to grow. Um they kind of stay small, but the
Yeah.
more you like reach out and you're open, I felt a lot like people just grow. Like, and it's like I feel like it's infinite. Like
Yeah.
it's anyways, it's been wild. It's really cool to see where it's like taken me.
Yeah.
Um Circling back because you asked about dirt dreams. Um okay, so after doing the whole social media thing like full time for years, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I miss designing." Like I miss being creative, I miss designing, and I felt like there was something missing in the industry. I really didn't like the merchandise that like Supercross or like motocross, like the stuff that you could buy at the races. I was like, oh man, like I don't love the quality. And then even the designs too, I just feel like they could be so much better. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I miss designing. Like I'm gonna try and like mix my two worlds together, moto and design. And so yeah, dirt dreams. That's
I
how
love that you were like, I see a
that's
gap and I have the skills and I'm going to do it. Like, what a boss. Like, not like, oh, I wish this would happen. And, maybe these people kind of do this well. And da, da. You were like, no, I see a gap and I have a passion for it and I have the skills. Like, I'm going to do it. And like, you did. Like, it's live.
thank you. Yeah, I
Ah!
definitely um it's kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of a little worried. It's kind of scary putting yourself out there,
I
especially
understand that.
maybe too as like a designer or creator. I'm like, are people gonna like this? Are people like, what if I start this and like nobody likes it and it fails?
Hmm.
And I will say I think one of the downsides of like having kind of found a little niche in the industry is like everything I do is like very public. So when I
Hmm.
fail, it's like public.
Yeah.
And
How do
I've
you deal
just
with that?
learned,
How do you deal with failing? I mean,
yeah, I oh gosh, where do I start?
I'm sorry. We need to
Um
finish one thought.
I just feel
we can
like
we can come back to it.
no, you're fine. I feel like you learn to kind of grow thick skin, especially doing social media. I've gone through so many waves where I feel like I've almost been in like a depression because of some of the things like people say to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like people come after the way I look or like the way that my body looks. And I'm like, this has
Ugh,
nothing to do with like,
disgusting.
well, anyways, like people attacking me. There's girls in the industry or guys that like will
Hmm.
take jabs and bully you,
Hmm.
and you kind of just grow a, like a thick skin, and it comes with time. And I've just learned sometimes I'll bark back at
Hmm.
people, like especially in the comments. Like I
Yeah.
have a good time, like
Yeah, it's kind
sometimes
of
fighting
fun.
with people. And then other times I'm like, oh man, this just like isn't worth my time and my emotion. And sometimes my husband will be like, you just need to put your phone down. He's like, don't even read the comments. Like, can you just like, he's
Mhm.
like, chill out, like, put your phone down, like, walk away, like, come back to it later. Um, but anyways, that I think it just comes with the territory. Like, as when you start to grow and when you start to put yourself out there, everyone's gonna have an opinion on it. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a time when I like really leaned into that. Like, there were
Mm.
some to post
This is a no judgment zone.
thank you.
Oh,
A few thirst traps back in
I
my
love
day,
it. No,
and
I love a good thirst trap.
people would get so riled up. And like I remember my husband and I would like read the comments or like some of the personal messages that I would get, and we
Mhm.
would just like laugh, and we were like, we should make another thirst trap. And like,
100%.
anyways, and people would just like spiral and go crazy, and the engagement was crazy, and we were like, this is great, like this is so fun. Social media really is like a game. I was gonna
Yeah.
say, when people, if you as like someone that's like consuming content feel yourself like getting riled up and like you're angry and you want to comment, like I'm guessing like 9 times out of 10, like the content was made to make you feel
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like made to kind of get a rise out of you. And so in the beginning, sometimes we would like lean into that and like we would just laugh at like the comments that I would get. It was so funny. But I was going to say, there came a point when like really serious companies started reaching out to me,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? Thirst traps aren't the way to go. I always drew a line. I told myself like there was a line that I wasn't gonna pass with like the thirst
Mhm.
traps, because I think one and there's like I have like no, I don't want to throw shade on anyone that like does that. Um, but I knew like I wanted to turn this into a more professional account. I think it
Mhm.
was when so um I was in California and I needed a bike, and I don't know if I reached out to them or if they reached out to me, but I got invited to the KTM factory, like their new factory.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I got invited in and they were going to give me a bike for the weekend. They were like, whatever you want. Like, they set up the SAG for me. They gave me like a tour of the facilities.
So
Like, I
cool.
felt so cool and so special. And then at the end, they were like, but we just don't want anyone to know that like we're giving you the bike, like low
Why
key. And
not?
that's when I was like, I realized, I was like, oh, these like thirst traps that I'm kind of posting just for fun. Like,
Yeah.
do people are thinking I'm like a hoe on the down low, or like a slut on the down low, which was everyone in my friend circle that knew me knew that I was kind of like just playing into this game,
Yeah.
this like social media game in the beginning. And I was like, I was kind of hurt by that. I'm not gonna lie. And I had like a lot of like mechanics or other people in the office that had come up to me and it was like, hey, like I love your content, like cool stuff, like I follow you. But it was like I was like, why are we whispering?
Why are we
Like,
whispering?
is this,
Yeah.
are you embarrassed?
Yeah.
Like I'm not, because I feel like once people meet me, they're like surprised, like, oh, you're not a hoe, like you're, or like
Even if I was,
I'm a
who
more
cares?
like sophisticated hoe, maybe. I but
Classy
anyways,
hoe.
so yeah, they were like, anyways, they gave me the bike for the weekend and they set it up for me. It was awesome. But they were like, yeah, just like don't tell anyone we gave it to you. And then I so that kind of like broke my heart. And that was kind of a turning
Mhm.
point when I was like, you know what? We're gonna slowly back off the third. I love an occasional thirst trap. I'm not gonna lie. There's
I'm so
maybe
here for
more
it.
in the there's maybe more in the future. But anyways, like I started to tone that down a little bit. And then I realized there's kind of a shift in social media too, where creators that weren't talking in their videos needed to, in order to progress and kind of like relate to more people, you
Mhm.
needed to find a voice. And this was kind
Yep.
of all over social media at the time, like fitness influencers and like um other, I mean, like food content creators and stuff. Like it was like people, it was time for people to share their voice. And that's kind of when I
Mhm.
started talking more in my videos. And I I am like blowing your questions away. Like I feel like you
No,
asked me a
no, you're
question,
not.
I'm
No,
like
I'm
getting
like, I
so
have
off
so many
track.
q no, I'm just making more questions, so keep going, girl.
Let me see if I can tie this back in though. You were talking about like overcoming failure,
Mhm.
and um I got invited to another content creator. I have to give him a shout out. I think his name, he just changed his name on social media. He's a cool guy.
We can find him.
Why
We
not
can
Zach? He used to be
why
called
not
Why Not
Zach?
Ride.
Okay, why not Zach? We like it. We'll give why
Now
not
it's
Zach a
called,
shout out.
yes, okay, so he's a sport bike content creator and he had invited me to come help him make content for Moto America for the Warhorse Ducati team. And up until that point, I wasn't talking very much in my videos. It was kind of just like recording, like it was really just like throwing the gear on. I had a system and it worked. Like people liked the content and it would grow, and so I just kept making more of that. But it was like gearing up and like writing, and those were my videos at the time. There was like zero talking, and then you put a trending audio to it,
Mhm.
and that was it. And he was like, I need someone to commentate. And up until that point, I had not talked in my videos, and so I was like really nervous, but I wanted to
Yeah.
like step up and like fulfill this role because I felt like it was a chance for me to grow. And I was like, yes, let's do it. So they flew me out to, I think we were in Georgia. I can't remember the
Middle of
racetrack.
nowhere.
Yeah, I can't remember the racetrack we were at, but overnight I was kind of, well, over the span of a couple weeks, because I knew nothing about Moto America, but I started watching all the races, and I was trying to memorize the riders and who has beef with who, and like who's like the top five guys usually, and like who were people talking about, and also memorize their lingo. Coming from a motocross background, the lingo wasn't too hard because a lot of it translates over. I just remember Zach, that's the guy that I was helping create content for, is like a perfectionist, and he wants things done a certain, which is fine. That's like what I really like about Zach, but he kind of taught me, Zach has always talked a lot in his videos, and he taught me the importance of like tonation. Is that
Mm,
even a word? Like how you use your
mhm.
tone
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
emphasizing certain words and stuff. And so we got out there, and as soon, like, I'm all dressed up and I have a mic and the camera's on me, and people would stop to watch us, and people would stop and take pictures and talk to us. Like, I think it looks like we kind of like work for Moto America. And so people were really curious, and like, I just remember Zach would make me do shoot after shoot after shoot, and I would just like, he didn't like the way I was saying things, and I would do it again and again and again,
So
and
hard.
like I was like almost ready to cry one time
I
because
get it.
I like couldn't nail it, but my failure was like so public. Like when I was talking in front of the mic, it's like, oh my gosh, the Moto America racers see me like failing again and again. All these like
Mm,
spectators like see me just redoing it again and again, and it kind of, again, it just like comes with the territory when you do social media. But it really forced me to like find my voice. And also I was like, people, no one's going to remember me after today. Like, no one's going to remember that this even happened. Like, you got to remind yourself, like, no one really cares. Like, people care more about themselves than they do
exactly.
about you. And so I just, yeah, I know that that sounded a little bit brutal, but I think like
No, it's
Zach
honest.
definitely helped me like find my voice. That guy's awesome. He's really cool.
Yeah. Well, shout out
Um,
Zach. I love that.
yeah, shout out Zach. Give him a
The
follow on
best.
social media. He's
Yeah.
a cool content creator.
Yeah. It's funny. So Real Housewives of Moto, obviously more focused on Supercross and Motocross, but because those are the only accounts that I follow on Real Housewives of Moto, I'm getting different types of content creators, and it's funny, like in the female space, I always get really excited when I get like someone pops up and it's obviously a girl racing, they're or not necessarily racing like motocross, but just like on a bike, and I get so excited because I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's girls out here. But you're right, like and when you first said that, like finding your voice, I felt this from the female content creators is that it's like it's either about the thirst trap or it's about the bike. And I'm like, it can be both of those, and I still want to know you, you know?
I Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely I used to get so much hate. Like people were it's so fun. Racers in the area would just like bully the crap out of me, and their parents would come in and just like bully me, like, we don't claim
Gross.
you in the moto community, like. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, do both. Like if people people like the content, and um anyways, yeah, people, you can do whatever you want. Like you can create whatever kind of content you want. People
Yeah.
would freak out when I was like just in my Ethica underwear. But Ethica is like my biggest money maker. Like I make the most money from my like Ethica affiliate codes, and so it will forever and for like always, even in the future, like the underwear will always just like be in my videos.
I
And
love
it's
it.
because I mean it's part of my job. Like that's how I make money, and then I promote Ethica and I drop my code and people use it, and
Shout out Ethica.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm
code, what is it? Code
like,
mob 20, MOB 20 for 20% for 20% off if you guys want 20% off your order.
heck yeah.
It helps.
We will put it in the links at the end of this. I love it. I'm so here for everybody getting their own cheddar. Like get your money, get as much of it as you can, be unique, have a voice. Like I'm so here for it. I don't know why people think that like it has to be this like secretive thing. I mean, even in Moto with like salaries, like we don't talk about salaries. I'm like, why not? Like know your worth, and like nobody's saying like I don't know, like chest beat your salary, like, but like own it, like be proud of what you've built, and be proud of, if you're a racer, your speed, be proud of, all the things. Like I think about, other people in the industry who I know when they're done racing, I still want to follow them because I know that they're a good human. I think about, Aaron Plessinger. I think about Malcolm Stewart. Like those people, I'm like, I want to support you even off the track because A, you're interesting, and like B, you're real. So even these, I'll get female riders that come across and it's like it's just the thirst trap, and like they clearly have the skills. And so I'm like, dang, you can ride. You're freaking hot. Like, what do you have to say? Like, you don't have to say anything. That's your prerogative. But like, what do you have to say? Like, I want to know you. And I don't know, maybe I'm just nosy. Maybe I'm just too curious. But I'm like, I think that humans are so fascinating, and that's really, we were talking before this. It's how I got into podcasting, into the moto media world was DMXS in 2015 or 16, and their whole thing is like, we want to know the rider under the helmet, and yeah, what you do on a bike is epic, and should not be discredited, but like at the end of the day, you're human, and humans are messy and fascinating. So I'm here for that.
I I love that you said that. I really think yeah, that there is space for everyone in this community. And I always tell people too, like, if you want to be, I mean, it's fun in the beginning because once you start growing, like, gear is so expensive. Like, it's cool getting like people that are like, hey, like, throwing like free stuff at you in the beginning. Like, if you want more moto gear, like, for free, or you want to start getting paid for it, like,
Yeah.
social media isn't a bad way to start, especially if you like love the sport and you love what you're doing. It's kind of a rocky it can be a rocky start in the beginning, and you can feel awkward in front of the camera and talking in front of the camera. Like, I went through that whole phase too, but the more you do it, and then the more you grow and the more you start like building a community, and you care about people and people care about what you have to say, it you kind of cultivate something, yeah, something special. And it, like,
Hmm.
I tell anyone, I started with like my iPhone, like a crappy old iPhone, like just me and my husband, like, making videos, and it can change your life, like, in such like cool ways. And so, yeah, and anyone can do it. I know I was saying this earlier, but like, a few girls in the industry have reached out to me and been like, oh, do you mind if I like recreate this video? And I'm like, girlfriend, like, you don't even have to ask me. That's the cool thing about social media. Like, that's really sweet of them to like reach out to me and ask, because I know they probably, like, maybe they don't want to step on my toes or feel like they don't want me to feel like they copied me. But that's what I tell people about social media is like, if you see something working for someone else, like, you don't have to recreate the wheel necessarily. Like, you just take that content or take that video and you put your spin on it and put it out there and see how it performs. And you just got to stick with it and like keep tweaking. Like, you got to keep pivoting. Like, just like me, like my little thirst traps that I would post in the beginning. It was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. We're going to pivot. And it's crazy. I actually, as soon as I pivoted and started doing less of the whole thirst trap thing, I I lost like 10,000 followers over the span of a month. And then
Mm.
I built them back up. So I
Hmm.
went from 185 down to 175, and then I built them back up. I guess I'm at 184 now, I think you said.
Yep.
But then that just went to show me like the people that were there for that type of content, like, they're gone, and
Exactly.
I'm okay with that. And then I was able to like build back, and I still have, and a lot, like, the majority of the people stayed, which also made me feel good too. It was like, oh, okay, they're not just here for like the thirst trap that I was posting. Like, they're enjoying some of the other stuff too, some of the other content. So yeah, social media is so cool. Anyone can do it. You just don't be scared. Just do it.
Yeah,
It's
I would say
gonna
that.
feel
Don't be
cringy,
scared.
but you just got to do it.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's always going to have something negative to say. I mean, we were talking off air. Like, I've had this domain and this handle and this logo since 2019, and it took me that long to like buck up and do it. And I'd like to think that I have somewhat like thick skin, but even me, like, I've been bullied. There's a particular fan base, which if you listen to the rest of my episodes, like, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. But there's a particular fan base that does not like me because I don't like this rider off the track, and I don't care. Like, I at the end of the day, I'm like, we like the same sport, and if you don't like me because I don't like your rider, like, cool. If you don't like me because I'm a woman, that's a different thing. That's a different level of gross. But did you hear the bike ride by? There's a kid that just rode by like a pit bike. I'm in my house.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
what
funny.
the heck? That was so funny. The summer brings them out. That was so funny. If you guys could hear that, it's like a little KX something. It was a cowie. So anywho, my ADHD, I'm like, bike. We found the right people. So Let's talk a little bit about the wreck, if you feel so inclined. You were riding a Stark. I want to be clear that this was not a Stark thing. This is a Michaela thing. We were, it could have happened to anybody. This is the risk that you take when you get on a bike, but you had pretty good get off. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I just wanna say, first of all, love Stark. I remember when Stark reached out to me, I was, like, so excited and to enter into this partnership with them, especially too they, Stark I don't know if people know this, but Stark is based out of Spain, and I lived in Spain for a couple years, and so my rep that I talk to sometimes will speak Spanish back and forth, and I love it. I'm, like, super rusty, but,
It's so cool.
I think I think he gets what I'm trying to say. Um, yes, okay, the crash. I did take a tumble on the dirt bike a couple months ago. I lacerated my liver
Mm,
and broke some ribs, broke
mm,
my I later found out that I broke my hand and that I had
mm.
torn the ligaments and the tendons in my elbow. Those
Ugh.
are things that just like weren't healing at the time. And I was like, something's wrong. And I went back in for imaging and it was like, your hand's broken. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was trying to tough that out for like 2 months. I
Oh,
should have just
girl.
gone in sooner. Um, yeah, that was, oh, I might get emotional. I'm still like, it's still kind of, I like get the jitters. Like I kind of get shaky just thinking
But
about it. And
it
actually,
shows how much you love it. I mean, you would not have an emotional reaction if you didn't love it.
true. And I was gonna say, I didn't like advertise this. I didn't film any content. I didn't put this out on social media, but I rode my Stark again for the first time yesterday in three
Girl,
months. Yeah.
how'd it
I was
feel?
like, you know what? I was like packing my gear bag the night before and I told my husband, I was like, I feel like nauseous. Like I feel
Yeah,
like scared, like I'm almost shaking, and like my liver is like aching again, like
it
just
knows. Your liver
thinking about
knows.
the whole thing. I was like, I feel nauseous. And he's like, we're just gonna take your bike, like no big deal. Like if you want to ride, you can ride. If not, like you can just hang out at the track. And we showed up, I gear up, I get on the bike, and as soon as I get out on the track, like all of that went away. I was just so surprised. I thought some fear was
Mm,
gonna kind of like stick in me, but my husband stayed behind me the whole time. I didn't do any jumps. I just kept it on the ground, but I almost felt like the time away was like almost good. Like I felt better than ever. Like my form and my line selection and hitting the inside ruts, I was like, I feel great. Like all the fear went right out the window, and I was like, okay, I'm okay. Like this is why I do this. Like I just I love it so much. Um, so okay, going back to the accident because I think this is kind of important. This is actually something that I've been wanting to share with people, and I just want to say Stark has been so awesome. When I entered into this relationship with Stark, they told me right off the bat, and this is kind of what solidified it for me. I was like, I love Stark. Like, yes, I want to partner up with you guys. Is that they told me that I didn't have to just say like good things about the bike. They were like,
mm,
if you have anything that you don't like or dislike, like we want to know about it and like tell people. Feel free to like tell people about the good and the bad. Like we don't care.
love it.
We're like we're here for the feedback and we want to make the bike better. And I was like, that is so cool of like a big company to do
Yeah.
because sometimes people don't say that to me. They're like just good, just the good stuff only.
Yeah. Good
Um,
PR only.
yes, exactly. And so okay, going back to the crash because I think this will make sense once I explain it. And I just want to also emphasize and start out by saying like this is definitely user error, right? The Stark I think is like a whole, and this is what I wanted to share with people that I think that would be important, especially where electric bikes are becoming more prominent. Is
Oh,
that
we should say that. We should say not all my listeners ride. A Stark is if you need to fix headphones, we're good. Stark is a new to the industry bike and it is an electric bike. And so it does not handle the same way. It does not sound the same way. We have not figured out the AMA has not figured out how to run it against traditional bikes. So yeah, Stark is a big deal in short.
yes, actually, I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad you touched on that because all of that is I think will kind of make sense as I start to explain the crash. And so I was on the vet track at one of my favorite like local tracks in Austin. And I have been on this track like quite a bit. I've spent a lot of time on this track. I've ridden this track on my Stark and on my Gas 125. And I've hit this jump. This is what's so like frustrating to me is that and I want to say too that I consider myself like a really safe conservative
Mm-hmm.
rider. There's
Mm-hmm.
no way like a lot of people in the motocross industry are like balls to the wall, like you know, like egg each other on to like hit that jump, and no one could like bully me or taunt me into doing anything that I didn't want to do. And so
Yeah.
I've always like prided myself, like I'm safe and I'm slow and like I'm okay with
Safe and
that.
slow is good.
Yeah, like the goal is to like make it home at the end of the day for me. Um,
Hmm.
and so I was on a jump that I've done on the Stark like dozens of times, and I it's as simple as this. It's crazy because I used to think like I was exempt from crashing. Like this would never apply to me because I am like so safe and like so conservative. I was like this doesn't apply to me, but you forget that it's really just a little too much of a twist of the throttle. Like just a little too much of a twist of a throttle could really just mean like chaos and like
Yeah.
a-
Yeah.
anyways. And so I I had just had a little too much power going off a jump that I had gone off dozens of times. And while I was in the air, I remember looking down actually over my shoulder and I was like, oh my gosh, there goes the landing. I was like, the landing's back
Oh,
there behind me. And
bad
in my
feeling.
head, I'm thinking, yes. Well, in my head, I was thinking,
Ugh.
you know what? This isn't the first time that I've overshot a jump. Everyone overshoots a jump every once in a while. So I was like, okay, we're just gonna flat land it. It's it's crazy all these thoughts that I had, like, well, because I was just in
Time
the air
slows
for like
down.
a split second, and I knew the track. I was like, you know what? There's a big berm coming up, and I was like, even if I get on my brakes, like front and back brake at the same time, I was even planning, like I was going so fast that my momentum would maybe even carry me up and over the berm.
Oh,
And so
dang.
I'm like planning this in my mind. I'm like, okay, flatland, get on the brakes. You may go up and over the berm, like position your body to like do so. And so I'm flying through the air, and last second, I accidentally touch the rear brake.
Oh.
And on a Stark Varg, you have the option to put the back brake where the clutch used to go. So it's up by
Mm,
your left hand.
mhm.
Whereas traditionally, since like the beginning of time and the beginning of dirt bikes, the back brake has always gone down by the right foot,
Mhm.
right? Um, and so I accidentally just touched that back brake, and the last second it pitched me forward,
Oh.
and then
Yeah.
handlebars went straight into my chest. Thank God I was wearing a chest protector because
Shout out
I
chest
think that
protectors.
yeah, I think that saved my life. There's like a big gouge in it too. It's crazy.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah,
gnarly.
handlebars went straight to the chest. I bounced off. Someone actually told me this afterwards on Instagram because I don't know what happened. I just know that I was like rolling in the dirt. I was conscious the whole time, but
Oh my
someone that
gosh.
saw it from afar was like, "Yeah, you bounced off your front tire, and you and the bike like both did a front flip, and like you went flipping one way, and then the bike went flipping the other way."
Oh my
And
gosh.
so again, user error. Like, did the Stark do this? No, I was the one that threw my leg over the bike and was twisting the throttle. But I do want to say that I think the Stark requires almost like the development of like a whole other sense. And I say that because the Stark is a silent beast. Like it's
Mhm.
absolutely silent. And it's crazy because that's actually one of the things that I like most about the Stark. I've had the chance to be at a private track with no one else around, and it's beautiful and it's groomed, and like you're going through this track and the trees, and it's silent. Like I love that about the Stark. I
That's
think
so
that's really
trippy.
cool. It really is. You just feel so present, and it's like it is really cool. But at the same time, I think that's also one of the more dangerous things about the Stark. And I think Stark is actually trying to bake in an option where maybe the bike potentially makes sound in the future.
Mhm.
But the reason why I say you have to develop a whole other sense is because typically, since like the beginning of time and like dirt bikes, motocross riders rely on like not only their sight, but like sound. Like on
Mhm.
my gas 125 when I'm riding, I know the sound it makes like when it's in first gear, second gear, third gear. And so I know like going off that jump that I went off, if I was on my gas, I would hit that probably third gear, like pretty, not like close to wide open throttle. And I know what my bike feels like and sounds like, and like visually, like my speed.
Mhm.
And I think when you take the sound out of that equation, it, it really, you're forced to just rely on your sight. And people think, oh, yeah, like, of course you have to rely on your sight. But until you ride it, I don't think people realize like how much you depend on the sound and like how important that is. Um, I've never had a wreck ever on my gas, and I think yeah, I've never had a wreck on my gas, and so I don't want to blame the start, but I think I mean I just was going so fast off that lip, and it's hard again because the Stark also doesn't have any like gears. There's like no shifting. So traditionally, I know like to go off this jump, I would need to be in third gear. So moving over to the Stark, there's like no gears, there's no gear changing. So whether you're in first, second, third, you don't really know. It's all like the feeling of the throttle. And so it really does take like a whole like just a whole new like awareness. And so I tell people like although I love the Stark and I'll always have a Stark like in my garage. The only thing I would tell people like if you want to get a Stark is I would leave like the back brake where it's always traditionally been,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're a mountain biker where they have both of the brakes up by the handlebars, maybe go that route. But if you come from a motocross background, just go with what you always know, especially if your body's put into a situation where you have to make a life changing decision, like last minute, like you have a split second decision. You want like your body's going to go into what it's always done and what it's always known. And so I think you should just leave the rear brake kind of like where it's always been. I think getting when I get another shark in the future, I'm going to put that back brake down by the right foot peg because I think it's kind of dangerous to have it up there. But again, user error, right? There's plenty of people that have ridden Starks and have had both of the brakes up front and have been totally fine. You just got to warm up to it. It's something you got to warm up to and be careful with. Like when you get on an electric bike, just take it easy because the sound is gone, the shifting is gone. But people have done like amazing things on Starks. Like it's changing the freestyle world. Like
Yep.
people are doing unreal things on those bikes, and I honestly think they're the future, and I'm fine with that. I know people throw a lot of shade on like electric bikes, but I
There'll
like
always be
that I can
haters.
like I know I like that I can jump on the bike and set it up to be like my gas 125. I can set it up to be like a two stroke. I can hand it to like my sister, dial it all the way down to like 10 horsepower and set it up to like I don't know to be like the like a 65 or something, and then I can give it to my husband and we can tune it up to be like a 450. And so it's like if you're a family that share bikes and stuff, it's like such an awesome bike to have in the garage. I would just say like be aware, like take it easy. It doesn't make any sound, it doesn't have any gears, and that's something, yeah, just to be aware of. You kind of have to develop like a whole new sense because you're just relying on your sight. There's no sound. So that was kind of a long story. I'm sorry, but
That's what we're here
I'm
for.
glad I could get that out there because I feel like that's something people haven't talked about with the Stark. People get the Stark and they just show it off right away, which I mean, rightfully so. It deserves to be in the spotlight, but also I think yeah, it's important to talk about all the new. I don't know if you could hear that. That's my
No.
dog.
Nope.
Okay. Um, it yeah, it just comes with a whole new like skill set, and I
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how people put them into races and stuff, and maybe Stark will make incorporate some type of sound on the bike too. But
Yeah.
even if they don't, it's just yeah something to be aware of when you get into electric bikes.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically it's like a whole nother sport. I mean, to your point about kind of like muscle memory, it's like your body goes into that flow state that you're looking for.
That was the word
And
I was looking for. Yeah, muscle memory, exactly.
yeah. So literally you're teaching your body like, okay, hey, everything feels the same. I'm sitting on this seat. It feels the same as, my legs are doing the same thing. But then, yeah, throttle and brake are different. Like that's a big deal. That's what's controlling the power. That's what's controlling the wheels. I mean, yeah, I've heard, you're not the first to say this. So I have heard that it is people are caught off guard by how different it is, but in a good way. It's almost like your naivety about how different is going to be is what really is what you're struggling with. And then once you're like, okay, these are inherently different, I want to ride them differently. I can rip around my neighborhood because it's silent. I mean, there's so many different use cases for an electric bike over, a traditional gas powered bike. But I mean, I understand like people are going to have opinions. They're going to have thoughts. Did you see the arena cross race that was all Starks? Like that,
No,
this was, oh man,
but
maybe
I
like
you're gonna have to send that post to me though, or
it was
was
so
to me.
wild. I mean, silent. And you can hear everybody and you can hear actual commentating, which is a whole nother thing, like about Supercross. Like, why do we have commentating in the stadiums? You can't hear it. Like, this is such a waste of vocal cords. But there's a lot of really interesting use cases for electric bikes that, it's just you exactly what you said. You've got to realize that it is different. Even if you're, a super baddie on a bike, like getting on a Stark is going to be different. And that's fine. That's fine. It's not trying to be a gas bike. I think that there will be things that we have to figure out with the AMA. Like Davey Coombs was talking, I think it was on Jace or on Gypsy with Jason. He was saying, maybe there's a way that we can lock the settings for 72 hours. So, we all know we're in the same setting and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, with anything, like we got to develop, we got to grow, we got to, figure out. Nobody's saying we're taking away 4 strokes. Nobody's saying that. Chill out, but I think the more the sport grows in any direction is a good thing. So yeah, good
I
on you.
think
And
so
good on you
too.
that didn't break your spirit, you know?
Yeah, no, thank you. I know. Yeah, I just some of my friends too were like, "Do you like playing the Stark?" And I was like, "No." Like, I honestly I love the Stark. And that's not just because we're in like collaboration with each other. People have always I honestly like how it handles more than my gas 125. I know the Stark, I think if you were to look at the weight, it's like I think it's maybe even slightly heavier than like a 450. So it's like a really I mean it's definitely a heavy bike. I guess my only critique would be that like I have a hard time plopping it up on the stand. Sometimes I need my husband to run over and help me put it up on the stand. But as
That's
far as
true.
like the way that it handles, it feels so nimble. It feels so light.
I've heard that.
Like yeah, it just rides so smooth, and the throttle is like it's just so instant. Like it's there when you need it. But yeah,
Okay, we found
definitely.
the weight.
Oh
This will
yeah, tell
shock
me.
you. Okay. So the weight is about 260 pounds. And I was like, okay, what's the heaviest traditional bike? Everybody makes fun of the Suzuki. So I was like, what's the Suzuki? The Suzuki's at 247. So it's 13 pounds heavier.
She's a big girl. Yeah,
She's a big girl.
she's thick. I
And you're gonna
definitely.
feel that, switching back and forth, you're gonna feel it.
You know what I was gonna say? As far as what's crazy is I feel like taking it out to the track. I feel like it feels light, like my 125. I
Mm.
feel like the way that it handles is just super light. When I tip over, I definitely can't pick it up by myself. My husband always comes over to help me pick it up. And I'm sure maybe that's something that they're working on too. Um, is maybe making it like a little bit lighter. But as far as the way she handles, like I absolutely like love the Stark. Like I said, there will always be a Stark in my garage at all times just because I love it. The power is like instant. They really don't take that long to charge. Um, yeah,
I mean, you
they're
sold me on it. I love the idea of like detuning it and tuning it up for family members. And I mean, that's really like, I mean, financially, it's really smart. Like if you got a kid that wants to ride and me that just wants to putt around and dad that wants to rip like a 450, like you could do that all on the same bike. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
So you got
Also,
me sold.
beginners too. I was gonna say, like, we've taken some friends out to the track and like throwing a beginner on a bike and you're explaining shifting and like the clutch and the throttle. It's like so overwhelming. But just to have like friends come out on the weekend, you just toss them on the Stark and it's like, oh, like they love it. Like all you have to do is like twist the throttle.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's
that's
a good
true.
bike. Recommend. Also have a code MOB. I think my
There you
code
go.
is MOB for the Stark. I think if you use that code, you actually get a free titanium free titanium foot pegs. Link is in
Ooh,
my bio. I can't remember the
we'll pull it. We'll pull it. Make
what
sure
is
and we'll
it?
link it.
Yeah, the affiliate code. But
Because
yes, do
God
love.
forbid, if you give us the wrong code, we will hear the keyboard warriors. They will rage out about the potential free money you gave them.
Dude, you never know. They're wild. Those
They're
keyboard warriors.
wild.
They go hard.
Goodness. They really do. I've learned my lesson there. I feel like we could talk for forever, but I want to honor your time. And I gave you a warning about some of the questions that we're going to end every interview with. So you ready for those?
Dude, I can't even remember them.
That's okay.
So just
That's okay.
rapid fire.
Yep, we're gonna
Go.
do it. I'd rather you not be prepared. Like I'm giving you them as a heads up, but I don't want you to think about them. So you did exactly what you're supposed to do.
Okay, perfect.
So what is one thing you wish you could admit to other women more often without guilt or judgment? One thing you would admit to other women more often without guilt or judgment that you wish you could say, basically. Like, what are women not saying that you wish they would say or that we would talk about more or any of the above?
Women are so tricky.
Preach.
for some reason. I feel like, um, I feel like I feel like a lot of the women that maybe, well, dislike me, like, on social media, I think it's okay to, like, be confident
Mm,
and also know, like, this is gonna sound, like, super cocky.
say it.
I
Say it with
hope
your
this doesn't
chest.
come off the wrong way, but I know, like, I know I'm pretty and I know, like, and I'm, like, confident. And I think that, like, bothers a lot of women that
Mhm.
I, like, know those things about myself. That, like, I know I'm pretty and I'm, like, confident. And I wish other people, like, other women would also realize, like, their worth and, like, that
Mm,
they're pretty and
mhm,
they're beautiful and that, like, confidence doesn't have to be cocky
mhm,
and it, like, just going throughout life, like, confidently, it will just, like, it changes your life and, like, your perspective of the world, and, like, once you know, like, your value, it's just women are really hard on themselves, and that makes me sad. I know people that, like, come after me in the comments or, like, people go out of their way to, like, DM me, like, a novel that's, like, so rude, and
gross.
I just in the end, really no one knows me because everything that I put out on social media is, like, curated, and now that I've, like, made it my business, it's like, it kinda, like, has to, like, be that way, um, and so you're only getting, like, a little slice of the pie, and so when people have to come after me, I'm like, you don't really know me, though," like,
Mhm, mhm,
and I feel like it kinda just reflects back on them, like, how dissatisfied or, like, not confident that they are in themselves, that they would even feel, like, attacked by me, and I'm like, "I don't even know you." But I just yeah, I wish women it's okay to know that you're, like, you're pretty and you're confident, and I wish other women would, like, know that and that like, practice that and, like, truly believe it because you are.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
in
love
your
that.
life.
I love it. I love it. I don't know if
Hopefully that
you
yeah,
you're a little
doesn't
bit
sound
younger than me. We
cocky.
figured out no, not at all. Not at all. Like, girl, own it. I get a lot of stuff in my newsfeed right now just because I follow a lot of like maternal mental health and like, all the things. And so there's this whole there's this whole like perimenopause discussion, which like I'm not perimenopausal yet, God willing, but talking about like cycle tracking and aligning your energies with your cycle and stuff like that. And it's like we all know like when you start being aware of like your hormones, there's that 1 week a month when you're ovulating that like you're like, damn, I am so hot. I am so untouchable. I am the best. Like
Yes,
I want
keep that
I want
energy.
that.
Yes, just, like, keep that energy moving forward. I truly
Yep.
feel like if women were also more confident in themselves, they wouldn't feel the need to, like, lash out or hurt
100%.
hurt other women either. I feel like it's the ones that aren't confident that try to, like, cause the most damage,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
I completely
just
agree.
makes me sad.
Yeah.
So,
Hurt people hurt people. That's what I've been saying
yeah,
lately with
exactly, yes.
it's nasty. So yeah. So the meaning or the meat that we're gonna take away from that is post the thirst trap. That's Michaela's advice is to post the thirst trap and
Post
own
the
it.
thirst trap. Yeah, post the cringy video, like,
Do
it
it.
yeah, you just never know where it you might end up. So, and I think content I like making content. I think it's fun. And I think, yeah, other like, yeah, post the thirst trap, the cringy content. Like if there's a video you want to make, like make it. Just
Do it.
yeah, no fear. No one really we're all gonna die in the
There you
end
go.
anyways, you know.
It's so true. Well, less emotionally depth. Words are hard. This is a fun one. So you've got $1,000 to spend. Nobody gets an opinion on how you spend it, and you can't be responsible, so you can't pay bills. How you spending $1,000?
Ooh, I think I would just go like straight for some really good like sushi and just like
Yeah,
blow,
I
blow it
love it.
all there. Yeah, if I can't be responsible, then for sure like we're going out for sushi, girlfriend.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
go get some drinks and some sushi. I would yeah, that would make me happy. Final answer. Sushi.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Shoot, the price of food and good night, that'd be like 4 pieces by the time you get that money. So,
I know. No case. Why is sushi? Yeah, so expensive. There's some great places in Austin. Next time you're down here, if you like
hmm
sushi, we're going.
Heck yeah. There was an all you can eat place, an all you can eat sushi place that we used to go to in Austin. And we went back to it like a couple months ago, and they have this like crazy rule that they've instituted, and it shows you like how much they charge you for everything left on your plate. Like sashimi is this and that. I was like, oh damn. Like the
Oh,
tariffs have hit the sushi industry.
oh my gosh. Yeah, no kidding.
It's
Shoot.
nuts. So
You're gonna make
well,
sure to eat
I'll
all
tell you
that.
that name.
Yeah, yes.
um,
Text me later.
all right. Last question. 2 truths and a lie.
Okay.
Okay. 2 true, 1 that is false. We will not tell listeners right now which one is false. They have to decide for themselves and let us know. So what you got? Three statements. Go.
Okay. Um, okay, first off, first one, my dad taught me how to ride. Second, I used to be a Mormon missionary.
Mm.
Third, I actually don't know how to ride. And all the videos that you see are like the riding videos are clipped. And I've been putting a wig on my husband and sending him out on my bike to ride.
The audacity. The audacity.
That's all 3.
Dang, girl.
Which
All
one's
right.
true?
Well,
Which one's false?
you got to figure it out. Got to figure it out for yourself. Please let us know what you think, because those are some good ones. I got questions about all 3. So, woo. All right, girl. This has been so fun. I have even more questions as we were talking. I'm like, we're gonna need to next time in Austin. We'll go and we'll get margaritas and we will talk about all the things we can't put on record.
Oh, we should. I was gonna say set up a little podcast in Austin or something
Yeah,
sometime, or in
I'd be
Dallas
happy
if
to.
I'm ever up there. It would be fun to do something in person.
Heck yeah, I would love that so much. So, to all my Romies, they named themselves. I was so proud of them. My Real Housewives of Moto homies. I know they're just gonna love you, and if they're not already following you, can find you at Michaela on the bike. I'm like, hold on, I gotta make sure I get it with the periods. Michaela period on period the period bike. I love
Perfect.
the way that periods look in Instagram handles, but I bet it's a pain in the butt to try to read it off like that. Like,
Yeah, I think if you
I
just
know
type
that.
Michaela, hopefully it comes up. Maybe you can skip the periods. I don't know, but then again, I haven't typed my own name into Instagram, so I don't know.
True.
Yeah, thank you for the shout out.
Absolutely. And I'll be sharing a ton of her content so you guys know where to find her. She loves all things moto, clearly. Dirt bikes and street bikes and otherwise. So this has been just a complete joy to talk to you today. And I'm so excited to get this out to my Romies. They're going to love you. And we'll hang soon. So you're a good one, girl.
Allie. And don't forget, girlies, post the content. Post it.
There you go. Post it. Stay wild. Be kind. I'm missing the last one. Stay wild. Be kind.
Be smart.
Be smart. That's the smartest one. Duh, Allie. Okay. We'll leave it at that. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Allie.